really going to do this, we got to do it, right? I mean, it's almost my duty to do it. Look, honestly, I knew I was going to do it. I even took special precautions to calm myself down this morning. True story. And then I got a cup of coffee and decided to step it back up because why? I don't know. Your mom. So, Trasnformers 4 Age of Extinction. The good, the bad, the ugly. The good. The positive. Regardless of any lack of cohesion in the plot, regardless of any over-the-top nonsense, regardless of any of that, it is somehow satisfying to see Dinobots mucking about, doing Dinobot things. They're Dinobots, I guess. It somehow works. In my opinion, Slag kind of steals the show for Dinobots. There's a lot of character in what he does. No development of that character. Just a lot of character in his actions. Don't get... Goodness gracious, don't get ahead of yourself, please. Just a lot of character in his physical nature. Somehow Scorn seems right. This guy I know, Scott, very knowledgeable in Transformers, he once said that characters sometimes can feel retro G1. Like, even though they weren't part of G1, they can feel like they were a part of G1. And even though they give nothing to those characters, I kind of feel like they do that with Scorn. Scorn now kind of feels retro G1 to me, even though he's only in it a bit. So that's cool. There's absolutely no explanation for Swoop's two heads, or Strafe, or whatever, but there's some coolness to him too, and there's some coolness to Grimlock. It's cool to see Dinobots doing Dinobot things. It's always good to hear Peter Cullen do Optimus. I mean, we can't deny that. Regardless of the nonsense that's written in the script for him to say, it's always nice to hear him voice it. Not for nothing. I wonder if he struggles internally with any of the dialogue that he has to say. You know, he's got to know that character inside and out better than any of us. If he's ever like, man, this isn't right. It's making me wrestle with my soul. Frank Welker does the voice of Galvatron. Regardless of what anyone's saying on the internet, it's not really G1 Galvatron voice, but it is reminiscent of G1 Galvatron voice. It is in the spirit of G1 Galvatron voice. And sometimes that's more than enough, and in this case it is. He does a good job, and it's cool to see. There's actually a scene, and I try to stay spoiler-free. Forgive me, and don't internet troll me if I spoil anything for you, because it's really not my intention, and I'm not giving anything away. But there is a scene where he's walking, and you see fighter jets flying in the background. They're not Decepticons or anything, I don't think, but they're just flying in the background, and it feels good. It feels good to hear Frank Welker talk as Galvatron with F such and such flying in the background. It feels good. Hound is cool. It's not Hound, but we'll get to that later. But, you know, he's a cool idea of a character. I just maybe wish they would have had a different name for him. Lockdown kind of steals the show in a lot of ways. Yes, he looks like Sidney Poitier. Shout out to Oscar. I love you. He does resemble him. He favors him. I don't really know that much about animated, but from what other people have told me, I've seen it kind of loosely, but from what other people have told me, you know, it's kind of like a stepped-up hardcore version of him, and you know that's what a live-action movie needs, and for a villain, and I'm good with it. I think that the way that they presented his character and everything was pretty cool. The gun face is a little much, but it's Michael Bay. Everything's a little much. A lot of slow motion, looking up at the character shots, typical Michael Bay. It's pretty, so that's why I'm trying to say it's a positive in typical Michael Bay. There's plenty of negatives, we all know that, but it's pretty. It's always going to be pretty, right? And he's good at that. I'm sure he comes from a music video background. What else? I gotta be honest with you, that's pretty much it. There's got to be more, right? There's no more Megan Fox. And there's no more Shia LaBeouf. He's busy wearing a paper towel over his head, or a paper bag over his head. Since Megan Fox isn't in it, she's not objectified in it. There's a new woman who's objectified in it. And people are saying that it's not, but it totally is. First of all, she starts off, and I'm trying to stay spoiler-free here, so take it easy, but she starts off in these little shorts, these jean shorts. And look, it's not that I don't like looking at a woman in little jean shorts, but if you're going to do that, at least have the body to fill those shorts out. And I swear to you, let's see, her butt is in the movie right about here most of the time. And then Mark Wahlberg will be sitting back here somewhere doing something. Her butt. It's right here. And it's not even a fun butt to look at. I'm not sure it's a butt. If she was in Land Before Time, she'd be called a long back. It's like two split legs. I'm not just giving her a hard time. She did fine acting wise. She is who she is. It's not her. It's the way that she's shot. Play to her strengths, and she has some strengths. Play to those. But those strengths are not in the backside of that unit. They're just not. Everybody's got weaknesses. I got plenty. The bad. The plot steps all over itself. It steps all over the previous films. Continues to do what you expected to do from Michael Bay movies. It follows the same motifs. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me there's a new Transformer movie, and it involves an ancient Cybertronian artifact and a possible global threat? Shut the front door! What an interesting take. That would be like Johnny Depp playing a weird loner who's socially awkward. That would be like a Tim Burton movie having Danny Elfman do the score. That would be like a Martin Scorsese movie that had Leonardo DiCaprio in it. That would be like an X-Men movie where the focal point was Wolverine. I saw an article in a newspaper or review it or a picture of it, and it said, "It's loud, it's long, and it's stupid. It's Transformers 4 Age of Extinction." And in a lot of ways, that kind of resonates. And I am so tired of people saying, it's a Transformer movie. What are you expecting? Shawshank Redemption? No, you idiot. I'm not expecting Shawshank Redemption. I'm expecting a good movie in a fantastic world. But I guess that is impossible. Oh, wait a minute. So maybe it's not impossible. But these Transformer nerds, sometimes they think it is impossible. But it's been proven time and time again that it can be done. You just have to have respect for the mythology, respect for the characters, and respect for the people that have touched the franchise before you. Right? It's a soft reboot, so they have these new characters, but they don't really, new human characters, new Transformer characters as well. But they don't really develop even the human characters that much. And everything that they do develop about them kind of feels forced. I'm an inventor. Hey, you listening? I'm an inventor. Remember that. It's going to pay off later. Because I'm an inventor. They've given a name to the metal Transformers are built from. I think it's called Transformium. So, shout out to Greg for Mercy. He said it best. Transformium is to Transformers what midichlorians is to Star Wars. It's long, but I think that's because they included a lot of robot fight scenes, and I wish they would have included more robot character development. Well, people don't care about the robots. People don't care about the... Like, how do you know? They've never tried it in the film. They've never tried it, so how do you know? I got news for you. People have cared about it for years. Just not in a live-action film. So maybe it might work. If you like the other movies, you're probably going to like this one. If you come to terms, or if you've made sense of it, or if you have swallowed that nut, so to speak, of it being what it is, and you're just there for robots doing chaotic, robotic things, you're going to be satisfied, because there's plenty of that. It's not what I want. I want some depth. I want some character development. I want the Transformers to be more than furniture. I want them to be more than the dishwasher. I want them to actually have heart and character and drive and wants and needs and fears. And, I want that. I want that richness, the richness that I've come to expect from the mythology. From even the stuff that I haven't been a fan of that has handled the characters and given that much respect to. I'm sorry, that's what I want. If that's what you want, you're going to be disappointed. Some of the Transformers don't even really transform anymore. They just kind of break down into molecules and then reappear into molecules. This was in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. Why even have alt modes? Just zip around on the little Transformium cubes. Why transform into a car? Just zip about. Zip about in the little cubes. It's faster. It's more efficient. Easier on energy. Silly. It's lazy, is what it is. How much easier do you think it is to break those CG characters into those little blocks, zip them around the corner, and reform them, as opposed to turning them into something that we know as real and tangible and registers with our brain as something that we can believe? What do you think? The ugly. When it comes to the Transformers in the film, I don't know them. I don't know those characters. I know the names. I know Optimus Prime. I know Hound. I know Bumblebee. I know Drift, but whoever those guys are in that movie, I don't know them. Some of the major things about who those characters are, they trample. They trample all over. Take Optimus Prime. With even the movie kind of adding to the element of freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Well, he proves in this movie that freedom is the right of all sentient beings unless you're needed for his war effort, in which case he can basically enslave you. Do this or die. Is that Optimus Prime? Does Optimus Prime show aggression towards humans, even if they don't understand and are fearful of the technology or fearful of the Trasnformers or fearful of the unknown? Does Optimus Prime, the character that you know, not understand that and decide to be hostile towards them? Is that the Prime you know? It's not the Prime I know. It's not. And all that they do away with the potty humor element, toilet jokes and all that kind of stuff that the Bay films have kind of come to be expected of, every one of those characters, those transforming characters, is pretty much a stereotype. Drift, who is a samurai, speaks with a thick, heavy Eastern accent, seems to be into soul and spirit and universe and energy and those sorts of things. One might say Taoism. Drift, they're probably going to handle the whole bit about him once being a Decepticon and switching sides and that whole moral dilemma and all that, right? Probably, right? What do you think? Crosshairs is from Australia, and guess what? He seems to be rough, rugged, aggressive, shoot 'em up, shoot first, ask questions later. That's strange. That's not Australian at all, right? Stereotypically. What Autobots are Autobots the shoot 'em up crew? Is that who they are? Is that they just trample everything in their paths, take what they need and roll out? Or is that the Decepticon? I'm confused. Hound is Merc. Oh, Merc. And although he is cool, I mean, there's questions that raises. Like, look, you're the muscle. You're like the military muscle that's going to get the job done. Where you been, Jack? Because we've had wars in Chicago. We've had battles over, Hoover Dam. And where have you been? Should have brought you. We brought Jazz. He got torn apart in the first movie. Like, he's never fought a Decepticon before. So where have you been? I don't know that character. And everybody wants to kill everything. These characters are supposed to be heroes. They're supposed to be archetypes. Optimus Prime himself is supposed to be more of a father figure. Not only to the Autobots, to the latchkey kids, to mankind. This is like the abusive stepfather unit. It's bad. Portrayal-wise. It's not positive at all. Bumblebee, I don't even get him. I don't even understand the character. Sometimes he feels like he's like the Autobot's dog, like a pet. And sometimes he feels like he's like the young, hip Autobot. And sometimes he feels like the juvenile, angry, not in control of my emotions Autobot. And sometimes he feels like furniture. Most times he feels like furniture. But sometimes he feels like all those other things. Who are you, dude? What is it with you? I don't get you. And it's not that I don't get you because of character development. Hey! Maybe it's because they haven't developed who you really are. Bumblebee's bad though, right? Is he? When? The voice box thing is still a mess. He does talk a lot, but is still using clips. Eddie Murphy's even used once, which even adds more confusion. Because if there's anything more confusing than Bumblebee, it's Eddie Murphy. Raw, delirious, hero of mine as a child. I was like, this is the funniest dude that has ever walked the face of the earth. Then there was that bit of business in the car. Maybe that's a connection. I don't know. But the point is, it's confusing, and I don't know who he is. I don't understand him. And he's not the Bumblebee that I know, really, in any rendition. Maybe Prime. I don't know. Let me put it to you like this. I'm in Maryland. It's almost summertime. If you know anything about the Mid-Atlantic area, it gets ridiculously humid around here. But I'm on a couch with a terry cloth robe on. I am hot. But you know what? I'm willing to take that sacrifice because I will stay true to myself. Get it? The Dinobots just gonna... A lot goes unanswered there. And they feel... I think they are the saving grace of that movie in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways it also feels super forced. That movie is still that movie with or without the Dinobots. Literally makes no difference. My kid asked me... To my kid, it's either a movie... or it's a movie with real humans, which is what she calls live-action movies. She was like, if they're going to use real humans, why don't they use the real Dinobots? We didn't have an answer for her. And now her life is more complicated. She'll probably end up on the couch at Dr. Francis, talking about her problems. People say, thanks Obama, thanks Michael Bay. Oh. Space boots. My prediction is that Rocket Raccoon will be greater than Rocket Shoes. Take it in. I mean, it's not that it's difficult to watch. You know, it's actually enjoyable to watch. It's possibly the most entertaining Transformer live-action movie made. You know, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable to watch. It's not painful. It's not hard. It's not difficult. Okay, it's like porn. A lot of scenes are really fun to watch. Really a good time to have a look at. Then there are some scenes you'd prefer not to see. But the moment they start diving into the story, you skip ahead. You know, it's more of the same. You know, if I could sum up that whole movie into one word, that word would be typical. Overall, 4 out of 10. Brawl Monday. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Till next time, take care.